Summer Friday. We'll get you set for Jets Giants, Yankees Cardinals coming up tonight and over the weekend. And we'll give you a chance to see Steph Curry live and in person later on in the program. But yesterday at around 5 o'clock, Sean Morash did a Cinco de Five. It was a good one, maybe one of the best ones he ever did. He did a list counting down the worst losses of this Mets season. And little did I know that a few hours later, I would actually witness the worst loss of the Mets season. Because in so many ways, the way they lost Thursday was worse than any other loss for this reason, Teak. They got good starting pitching out of Kodai Senga.
5 2/3.
I actually agreed with Carlos Mendoza taking him out. Some disagree. More on that later. They got clutch hitting, even though they didn't score a lot of runs. They responded to the Braves taking the lead in the sixth inning by Lindor getting a clutch hit, stealing second, by Alonso coming through with the leading hit, Nimmo getting a sac fly. And it was all set up for the one part of this team that you would think you have confidence in, which is the bullpen. Mm-hmm. And Ryan Helsley comes out with his theme song and the lights and the Hells Bells, and he choked. And for the Mets to lose a game in which all of those little things were going right, the clutch hitting, the quality starting pitching, to lose that game, to me, in a lot of ways, was worse than anything they've done because it felt like all was right with the world. Like, I'm sitting there in the ballpark in the eighth inning saying, all right, can't write this any better.
Right. Well,
clutch hitting, good starting pitching. Now they're going to go win a game, and they're going to win a series.
The problem is it was the Braves. That was the biggest problem because for whatever reason, you can't beat the damn Braves.
They can't beat anybody, Tig.
But forget it. Forget anybody. I know they've lost 13 of 15, and that's not all the Braves, obviously. But it feels like no matter what, Braves are dead. They are sinking. They are falling. Yeah. Their pitching is all of them are floating over 4. Some of them are going towards 7, except for when they play the Mets. It's almost like it's a curse. It's almost like no matter how good, and you laid it all out. I mean, they manufactured a run. It was pretty amazing. Lindor gets on, he steals. Soto gets on, he steals 36 straight without being caught. And they get RBIs. I mean, it was kind of perfect.
Yes.
It was lined up to be perfect. And then all of a sudden, it just sinks away like that. And it's not even a 6-run blown lead.
No.
It's just kind of like dink and dunk and RBI, double. Here we go. We beat you.
Yeah.
No matter how good you think you are, we are your daddy. That's what it feels like for the Braves with the Mets. It's almost like the Astros. Remember 2 years ago when the Yankees, this is before the Soto year, so the year before, it was like the Astros have zero fear, no matter how good or bad they are, right, of the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like with the Atlanta Braves.
Well,
and it's your nemesis. And it just, this feel-good moment that happened a couple of days ago when Pete Alonso gets 253 and 254, and all right, we're turning the corner now, but we're still the Braves.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway.
They've won 7 of 10 against them this year, in a year in which the Braves are well under 500.
Right.
It's a part of it that they can't beat the Braves. To me, it's bigger than that. It's they can't beat anybody.
True.
I mean, they've been a bad team for a long time, and even when the things that have been the most inconsistent actually show up, like the starting pitching and the clutch hitting, the other aspect of your team, which is supposed to be a strength, craps the bed.
Right.
And, Francisco Lindor said something after the game. He is a great leader, and he is starting to wake up, which is a positive sign. But Lindor said, we win as a team, and we lose as a team. And he's so right. Every aspect of this team will contribute to a loss. Whether it's the starting pitching mostly, whether it's the clutch hitting, whether it's the defense last week with Brett Beatty, or in the case of last night with Ryan Helsley, it's the bullpen. And that's why as we sit here in the middle of August through this horrendous stretch, and yes, there's time. They're still in a playoff spot, though that'll go away by the end of the weekend. It's tough to believe things are going to turn when they always find ways to lose. They're the opposite of last year.
Yeah.
Instead of always finding ways to win, which is what good teams do, which is what they did in the first month of the season, it's the complete opposite. And last night was a great example of it, where things are going well. It's all set up to win a game and win a series and at least feel better about this team going into the weekend. And instead, One of the acquisitions, which I loved, we all love the acquisition of Ryan Helsley, but then we got to call it out. He has stunk as a Met. And this is the risk you have when you bring in relievers, especially guys who are closers, who are now asked to pitch the 8th inning. You never know what the results are going to be. And so far, the results have been awful. He needs to retire his intro. That's got to go away. I'm sorry. And, you know, it's so funny.
Did it pump you up in real time?
So when the lights went out and the Hell's Bells started, and I'll show this to you if you don't believe me. I recorded it on my phone. And I had it set up to tweet out something, and I decided not to. I deleted it. I was going to tweet the video and say, you better not blow this game with an intro like that. And I said, you know what, Ev? Why be negative?
You know what? You should have sent it.
I should have?
Yeah. Because no matter what happens, if he doesn't, it's like, look, Evan was on it.
I know.
Evan got it. He saw that tweet, even though he doesn't have his phone in the dugout. But whatever, he felt that tweet.
Right.
And so I had to be dialed in because Evan Roberts. And then if he does blow it like he did, it's like Evan was prophetic.
Yeah. You may
get rid of the Hell's Bells.
I didn't want to say it because, like, Tommy even warned me yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
then you become
why,
the mush. Right. Then you become the mush.
Why put the negativity in the air? But I thought it, especially because you're getting this big closer's intro like you're a superstar. What have you done for us? I mean, you were a fine pitcher for the Cardinals, and I love that Stearns traded for you, but what have you done for us other than blow games? What have you done?
SNY has also tweeted that video and is getting dragged in the mentions, and we love SNY.
Because...
Really?
Yeah. Well, he tweeted it the moment he came out.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't cool, or it isn't cool unless you're good. That's the thing about intros. Yohan Duran's got a great intro. He's good. Edwin Diaz has an awesome intro. He's good. We didn't love the Edwin Diaz intro in 2019 or 2021. We loved it in 2022.
Was it the same in 19?
So I think he changed it and then changed it back to the trumpets at some point in the middle of the 19 season.
I actually do remember that. So I remember people talking about how it was aired and it was gone and then it came back.
But the point is, you got to get the job done. And overall, as we sit here today and the Mets get set to play Seattle, and we'll get to the Yankees who get set to play St. Louis, I don't know how anyone believes in this team. I don't know where you're coming from to believe. They've been garbage for 2 months, and last night, in a lot of ways, even if it's not the headline of blowing a 5-run lead or a 6-run lead, the fact that in your own building against a bad Brave team, with everything set up, it was all set up, they find a way to blow it, and then the offense, who has a chance to respond in the 8th and 9th inning, do nothing, led by Captain Solo Juan Soto, who comes up in a big spot and strikes out on 3 pitches like he had no chance. They felt dead in the last 2 innings last night. And as we sit here today, you can tell me all day what their record is and how much time they have. And I am not one who usually screams the house is on fire, but I'm telling you right now, the house is on fire. I have very little reason to believe this is going to turn.
Yeah, well, it's hard to when the Cincinnati Reds are right up your rear, half a game back in the wild card. But the good thing is, and I'm not positive Tommy's out today, but the good thing is that you still have a chance to even catch the Phillies. You have games in front of you that you can win and should win. The counter to that is that your schedule is rough. It's all playoff teams, save the Braves, who you can't beat, and the Nationals, who interestingly beat the Phillies last night anyway. So it's just, it feels like there's an opportunity, but there's also the real likelihood that the Mets just keep sliding. And what happens if they do? If the Mets completely fall off the table and don't make the playoffs, what's the repercussion? Wait, what's David Stearns do? What's the fan is screaming and yelling, obviously.
Yeah.
But what happens if this happens? Nothing. You're just going to be young again next year with young pitchers, young position players. Got to make a decision on Pete. But what's going to change?
I have not...
Not firing your manager.
No, I wouldn't fire the manager, and I hate to say this to you, Tiki, I don't have an answer for you yet. And maybe I don't have an answer because it's August 15th, and I'm not giving up on the season.
Right.
I'm just telling you I don't have confidence it's going to turn.
I wouldn't either. I'm just telling you the reality of the season. You have a tough schedule.
Well, it's not even the schedule that scares me, Teak, though you're right about some of the... Like, Seattle's tough. I mean, the Mariners are one of the hottest teams in baseball this side of Milwaukee. Like, that's not going to be easy. So it's not even the schedule more than it is, are they good? Like, it's a simple question. Are the New York Mets any good? Okay, and have they given you any evidence that they're going to turn this around, considering they've been bad for 2 months now? And there really hasn't been any evidence.
Well, if you look at it from an individual player standpoint, Is Kodai Senga good? Yes. Is Sean Manaea good? Yes. Is Clay Holmes? Well, I won't go Clay Holmes, but he's slotted in be your third guy. Has he been good this year as a starting pitcher? Yes, and it'll be miraculous if he gets through this entire season as a starter, which I don't know. Maybe he goes to the bullpen, but has the experiment worked in a big picture standpoint? Yes, he's been good. Do you still have the best closer in baseball or one of them? Yes. Is Pete Alonso a good player? Yes. Is Juan Soto a good player? Yes. Is Lindor? Yes. Nimmo? Yes. Right? All these answers are yes. On paper, they are a good team. For whatever reason, they suck as a team, though. And that's why it's like if you could scream and yell and say, you got to get rid of this guy, DFA this guy, he stinks, he stinks, he stinks, he stinks. You kind of have a solution in your mind.
Right.
There's no solution.
Yeah, and it's not the solution because I don't want to frame it this way. The thing that I've been passionate about, and we're going to get it on Saturday, is calling up some of the young, highly touted starting pitching.
Yes.
And it's going to happen with Nolan McLean.
Right.
Now,
but not Sproat.
Well, not yet with Brandon Sproat, but we'll see him. I can promise you this. By the time Labor Day hits, Brandon Sproat's going to make his Major League debut. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? It may mean the answer. I mean, those guys could come up and dominate. Right. They could come up and be great. Or they can come up and struggle. You never know with young pitching. That's been one thing I've screamed about passionately. But you're right. There's no magic elixir other than guys need to be better. Like, I had this debate on the Rico last night. I heard Brandon give a great other side opinion to this earlier today on the midday show. I disagree with him, but I understood the Met fan who said, hey, Mendy should have kept Kodai Senga in. Now, I disagree with them. I thought that Senga was done. His command in the sixth inning started to become an issue when he walked Matt Olson and even fell behind Michael Harris before he gave up the base hit. And I trust the Met bullpen. Like, the Met bullpen is their strength. And I got 5 2/3 out of Kodai Senga. I'm happy. I say, you know what? I got the best out of him. Let me go to my bullpen.
Right.
This, to me, isn't about Mendoza. It's about the players. It's about performance. It's about the fact that even after Rogers gave up the soft contact hit and the Mets were down by a run, so you could say Mendy screwed up, the Met offense responded. And then he goes to Ryan Helsley. And even though I would have done Diaz in the 8th inning instead of Helsley, that's a story for another day. You add your best players on the field. Mm-hmm. They need to perform.
Right.
Like when I sit here to try to diagnose why the Mets have collapsed, yeah, there's plenty of moves I didn't like that Mendy did, but it's not Carlos Mendoza. And Mendy's falling to the same problem Aaron Boone falls to. We start to get angry about what he's saying after games.
Yes.
I don't care what he says after games.
Right.
They got to win.
Well, he's going to tell you the truth after games, and I think that's what pisses people off sometimes because they'd rather be lied to and then be mad at him because he lied at you.
I don't think they want him to lie. I think they want him to scream, Teak.
Well, yeah, probably. But you can't. It's still, 40 games ago. You still got a lot of baseball left to play. Screaming's not going to do anything. It'll make you feel good in the moment, but it's not going to change anything. And look, the debate you were talking about that you had and BT had as well about Senga, the one thing that you noticed watching this game on television, I don't know if you noticed it while you were actually at the ballpark, Evan, but and they mentioned it. Keith mentioned it.
Yeah.
How when Kodai's throwing this forkball, and it's like his facial, you can tell he's putting every ounce of energy to make the pitch, whatever one it is, whether he's trying to throw a fastball or he's throwing his fork, whatever it is. There's like so much energy. He was just spent. And if you're Carlos Mendoza, you can see it. Like, I could see it watching it on television.
I felt it just watching from way upstairs.
Yes.
I felt like his command in the 6th inning was a little off.
I'm talking about his effort. Like what his body was like.
But sometimes
it's like, okay, next one.
That was some imitation.
But that's what it looked like on television. Okay. So Mendy was right. He didn't have like the power anymore. He didn't have the energy anymore
I think,
to keep doing it.
I think this is one of those managerial moves that's a 50-50. Like, I see the other side. Sometimes I get pissed off and I don't see the other side. Right. I see the other side. I was more on his side of pulling him because I look at this bullpen, and maybe I shouldn't with the way Ryan Helsley's pitched, and I say, boy, if I can get to the middle part of the 6th inning and I've got Raley, who he didn't use or warm up, which was odd. I got Rogers. I got Helsley. I got Diaz. I even have Soto. I feel good about getting those last 10 or 11 outs. The bullpen is their strength. Now, it didn't work, but I think that's a 50-50 managerial move. It comes down to performance and guys getting the job done. And guys aren't doing that. And I'd love to say it's all going to be okay, but when you get 2 months of data where even when the starting pitching is good, like last night, or the clutch hitting comes through, like last night, or they score a lot of runs early 2 nights earlier, you still find a way to lose, That's just a sign of a losing team. That's a sign of a team that's not going to turn it around. Now, you said something earlier, and I'm not ready to answer it, nor do I want to answer it, which is, hey, if they miss the playoffs, what do you do? I got to think long and hard about that because I don't think there's an easy answer.
No, there really isn't.
Now, I will eventually have an answer. You can trust me on that. I'll probably do a 5-hour Rico on it. But as we sit here today in the middle of August, I don't have an answer for the offseason, nor do I want to think about it. I want this team, this high-priced team, to turn it around. I need Juan Soto, and I don't care about his emotions or his smiling or his lack of smiling. I care about one very simple thing, and I have been damn consistent about this whenever we talk about sports. It's about performance, dummy.
Right.
Juan Soto came up in the 8th inning with a runner on first and 1 out right after Helsley gave up the lead. He struck out on 3 pitches. That's the kind of season Juan Soto's had. He'll get hits. He had a good series, right? He was 3 for 11. He was on base a bunch of times, hit a home run. Just like his stats are good. I'm not arguing his stats, but if you watch every day, you know the impact hasn't been there. And I thought this series against the Braves was a great example of it. His stats were there. Where was the impact? Where was the impact when he came up in the 8th inning with the tying run on first base and he struck out on 3 pitches against Dylan Lee, who struck him out a few months earlier in a big spot? Where was he in the 5th inning after the Mets gave up the big lead 2 nights earlier and he comes up as the tying run and he strikes out? Where's the impact?
Juan Solo.
That needs to change. Now, is it going to change? I hope so. But I need Juan Solo to, be the guy we've seen.
Right. Go back to being Soto.
Yes.
Right. It's just, and it's not, it's easier said than done, it seems like, for anybody on this Mets team. And that's the issue. This feels like a mental issue. It feels like because it's not physical. I don't think anybody's hurt, even though I am starting to question why Brooks Raley hasn't pitched in 5 days. But it feels mental. This feels emotional.
Well, you know what else it feels like, Teak? And I hate to say what I'm going to say, but I got to be real with you. This team, not everybody, because obviously Juan Soto was new, I understand that, but Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, here's the truth about these guys. I love these guys. Last year was amazing, OMG, blah, blah, blah. They have let us down a hell of a lot more than they've succeeded. In 2021, they all choked. Every single one of them. They were in first place for a majority of the season. They finished the season under 500. They choked. 2022, they were having a great year. What happened when the chips were down?
Right.
They choked. In 2023, don't worry. We got the talent. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. What happened? They choked so badly, they had to sell guys off before July 31st. Last year, as great as it was, until proven otherwise, kind of feels like the outlier. Because what's happening this year? They got the talent. They got the talent. They'll be fine. Well, I heard that in 2023. I heard that in 2021. I heard that at the end of 2022.
And heard it at the beginning of this year.
Heard it this year. So I know there's a lot of guys who, weren't a part of all that. So I can't put that on Cedric Mullins or obviously Juan Solo. But that's the other thing I'm kind of scared about. This unit has failed more than it's succeeded. So again, on August 15th, why do you believe? Because I'm having a tough time believing. That's the reality. We'll get to your calls coming up. 888-808-1019. And again, Tiki offers a perspective none of us have. I'm very curious, and you will answer this. I want you to think about it when we come back. And that is, we want Mendy to yell and scream and call his players out. Would that work on a professional athlete? Would that have worked on you? Would that have worked on some of your teammates? We'll get to Tiki's answer and your calls next. Okay. That was Tiki's Kodai Senga imitation, ladies and gentlemen.
It looked just like Kodai Senga, too.
It did. We'll get to your calls. We'll get the Jets-Giants. We'll get you set for Yankees-Cardinals as well, and a chance to see Steph Curry live coming up this hour. We're live from the Town Fair Tire Studios, powered by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Absolutely nobody.